What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally going to talk about my hand tattoo and everything about it, the whole process, before, after, and during, just everything. I'm going to try my best to cover everything about this. So I'm just going to jump right into it because I have quite a few points I want to touch, or what is it called? Go into. First thing is meaning and why. I'll say why I got this tattoo. I mean, just a disclaimer before I start the video, I am not a tattoo artist, so everything I say is just based off of my knowledge, my art background, and just knowledge that I know, just being an artist, a painter, and sketching. But I'm not a tattoo artist. I have never picked up a tattoo machine or anything like that. So for all you professionals out there, I just want to let y'all know that I am not at y'all's level. So there's that disclaimer. Second disclaimer, if you do not like tattoos or tattoos on women or visible tattoos, then this is probably not a video for you. I mean, you can watch it if you want to, but I'm just letting y'all know that, for one, I don't care if you don't like them because I love them. But just so y'all are fully aware, if you did not see the title of this video, that this will be about tattoos. So I'm not going to go into that. Moving on. So the meaning and why I got this tattoo. For me particularly, I have only 5 tattoos, so I'm not doing a tattoo tag yet because I only have 5. I just don't feel like that's worthy of a whole tattoo tag video yet. For me personally, all my tattoos are on the right side of my body, and I plan to keep it that way. I don't know why. It just started that way. I've always had everything on my right. The lion, for me, represents a warrior, a fighter, kind of like that silent fighter too. Let me hurry up because I feel this is going to be forever. Why I got it on my hand. One, of course, I think it looks amazing. I love it. For me too, I am an artist at heart. Art is a huge part of my identity, and so I love to wear art. Though it's not my art, I did not obviously put it on myself. It represents who I am as a person. All my tattoos do. I love the creativity. I love to let artists put, I guess, their piece on me. When I go in with the idea, though I do have some creative ideas, I love to see other people expand on my ideas and just make it their own. So I love having it on me. Now, I will say this was not something I just decided like yesterday. Oh, I want a hand tattoo of this. Perfect. Let's go get it done. It was something I thought about for a long while. I waited a year to get mine. It was something I thought about. I wanted it at the time, but I was kind of on a tattoo spree. I had gotten 4. I have 5 tattoos now, so 3 of them, well, I got a touch up from a different artist because the original one did. That's the story in itself. So I was kind of like getting tattoos back to back, and I was like, okay, I want this one, but it's a very bold move. I'm not sure if I want to get it. And I just started getting tattoos last year, so I didn't want to kind of rush into it, so I waited. And came the holiday time, I still wanted it really bad, and I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and start researching. And so that is my second thing I'm talking about, is research. I researched everything. So the first thing I researched was artists. I knew I wanted it, but I wanted to make sure I found the right one. If you're considering getting a hand tattoo or any tattoo that is really visible, or any tattoo in general, make sure that you research for a really good artist. I think it's great to know what type of style that you're looking for. If you know you're looking for American traditional, if you're looking for a realism or whatever it is, you need to find someone who specializes in that form of art, because otherwise you can go to someone that may be really good, but you're asking them for a watercolor when they don't specialize in watercolor. They specialize in black and gray. So then it's like, how can they help you? You're asking them to do something, expecting it to come out great, and they can't do it. A lot of times artists will tell you like, hey, I'm not the best at that anyway. You should look at this person. But I'll just make sure I do a lot of research. Boom. Okay. Yeah, so research is important. I researched for a whole day, which may sound like a whole day, that's it. No, I mean like I literally spent the whole day looking up artists. I had like 30 tabs open up on my computer, and I was literally going through it, researching everyone, clicking off people who didn't do my style, and then I would focus on people that I'm like, okay, these are the ones who are doing black and gray, realism, they're awesome. Then I would narrow it down to my top 3. I emailed my top 3, my concept ideas, where I wanted it, everything. My top 1 and 2 got back to me, which was awesome because my number one choice got back to me immediately. Or I guess I think it was immediately. I think it was same day. If not same day, it was the next day. I think it was the next day. He got back to me first, and I'm like, yes, because I was really nervous. I really thought that I was going to have to go 2 or 3, which they were good, but they were nowhere near as good as 1 in my opinion. So when he got back to me, I was just like, yes. Number 2 got back to me, but he told me that he couldn't do it. Like, he doesn't tattoo hands. So he tried to refer me to someone else who actually was on my list. He just wasn't in the top 3. But I was just like, Number 1 got back to me, so let me see what he's talking about. So I got him. I was super excited about that. So I researched and I found him, scheduled him. He had an opening that happened to be on my 21st birthday. So he had an opening a week later, which was on my birthday, and I'm like, done. That's confirmation. So I got it. Anyway, I also researched about hand tattoos. I think everybody should do research on the area that they're going to get their tattoo. I got my ribs done last week. Actually, I got this done 2 weeks ago. I got my ribs done last week, and I didn't get a chance to research. Now, I'm that type of person, when I got my forearm done, I looked at forearm. When I got my hip done, I was looking at hips. Hands, I researched hands. I watched tons of videos of people getting those areas done so I could kind of see like what were the best positions, what did these people do, how did they feel. I just like to really prepare myself before I go in. So with the hands, I researched I watched a lot of videos of people who got them. I also researched the aftercare and the process of it, because if you know anything about hand tattoos, a lot of times it's really hard for the ink to stay and it can fade easily, especially if your artist doesn't know how to properly get the ink in the right places and all that stuff. You don't want to deal with blowout and all that. So I did a lot of research to like figure out what I was going to do, aftercare, all that stuff, which I'll talk about here. But yeah, so anyway, I did a lot of research about that noise. So that was that. Anyway, let me move on because this video is turning out to be forever long. So, third thing I want to talk about is the studio. I ended up going to Defining Skin, downtown Columbus. I'll have the information in the description box. The artist I had was Boney. He was absolutely amazing. I'm definitely going to have him finish off my half sleeve. I'll probably go to him for every major piece I have just because I love black and gray realism, and that's what he specializes in. I could just say that the studio was awesome. If you're in the Columbus area or even just the Ohio area, I would totally recommend you guys coming out to this shop because they are so awesome. The shop atmosphere was this studio was very professional. I mean, they were still very friendly, they were relatable, they joked around, they had fun, but it wasn't at a degrading level, to themselves or anybody else. It was just a great environment to be in. They were fun. My artist was really nice. He was very personable. You can like connect. And everybody in the studio was really friendly as well. The studio itself was very nice. The atmosphere and the look of the studio was great. So it was just a very good experience for me that I can definitely say I will come back to that shop. I know I've been to other shops that are very shady, or the people look like, I don't even know if I really want to tattoo you. I know with my guy particularly, he was very passionate about it. He was up for the challenge that I had. You could just tell that he had an excitement overall to do it. So I was like, this is definitely where I want to be. You definitely want to find someone who is excited to tattoo you, not just doing it to get your dollar, but they really want to expand on their portfolio and challenge themselves as an artist. So that studio, definitely check out. The information is in the description box, so make sure you do that. Now, fourth thing I want to talk about is the cost. I was quoted for about $400 to $500 for this, and I was also quoted by my previous artist for the same price. So originally when my previous artist told me that, I'm like, yo, that sounds way out of the way price wise, but I realized that for quality you need to pay. So if you're someone who, I know a lot of people could probably get this done for maybe $100, $200, someone can do it. But are you going to have quality? Are they going to know how to get the ink to stay? All that stuff. Especially with the hands, the key is to get the ink to stay in. So if you're going to someone who's just like, oh, I can tattoo, that could be faded in 2 weeks. So it's really important to make sure you're paying for what you're getting ultimately. So he quoted me for $5. My previous guy quoted me for $5. He kind of fell off the face of the earth, so I didn't go to him. Plus this guy, my new guy, seemed really passionate about it, so I was glad to do it. When he said $500, I was like, cool. He told me the time. He asked for a $100 deposit. I had it. I did it. And when we were all said and done, though, it only came out to be $350. He only charged me an additional $250. Don't know why, but it was awesome. I'm like, I'll take that blessing. And yeah, so the cost was about $350 for it. Pain, that's the next topic. Just a disclaimer, just for you people, which I'm sure you've all heard before, because I'm sure it's not the first tattoo video you watch. Everybody has different pain tolerances. So for me personally, I have a pretty high pain tolerance. I can just disassociate from pain pretty easily. And I think that's the whole thing. I think everybody experiences pain, they can feel it, but some people can just mentally handle pain better than others can. So for me personally, the hand, I would say when he did it, I was surprised because so many people on YouTube and just people who've done it have told me like, oh, it's so painful. Everybody talks about how painful it is. So I was prepared to like be jumping out of the chair, screaming, saying, hey, no, I don't think I can make it, man. I was prepared to mentally think that I wasn't going to do it because I'm like, if I start, I'm finishing. But when he did it, he like did a couple dots on my hand, and I was like, oh, that's it. Now, pain-wise, I would probably say it was a 5 or a 6 to start. I was like, okay, that doesn't feel good, but it definitely doesn't hurt as much as I thought it was. I thought it was going to like be 1,000 out of 10 at first, but it wasn't. It was manageable. I'm like, okay, I can do this. But then, if you know anything about hand tattoos, obviously, well, I have a pretty bony hand just in general. Like, you can pretty much see all my bones right here, or at least you can feel them if you can't see them. So when he started tattooing me, he's like, whoa, you have some pretty bony hands. I'm like, you're right, I do. By the time we finished, you guys, I'm going to insert a picture. My whole hand was pretty much like a baseball bat, which my previous tattoo artist told me that. He's like, yo, you're not going to be able to do anything with that hand for a couple days because you're going to be so, like, it's going to be so swollen. He was correct. This thing was huge. It was massive to the point I could feel my bones easily. When he had tatted me, this thing was so swollen, like, he would literally touch it and be like, I can't feel your bones anymore, like, because it was so swollen. So, by the time this thing was swollen, he still had a lot of work to do. He had to go over the mane some more to make sure the color saturated. He had to do more details, especially down in here, just getting the shading and stuff. So, overall, it was, once it was swollen, I would say that the pain jumped to probably like 100 out of 10. It was painful. And it was painful to the point where I wasn't able to hold conversations anymore. I'm the type of person, like, I like to focus on pain. Some people, you know, if they get a tattoo, like, they'll put their hand over here. Okay, hey, girl, you know, what's going on? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Like, you know, they're having a conversation over here. And I thought I was going to do that. I literally brought a friend with me and had another one pop in for, like, an hour, which time-wise, guys, I got there at 1:30. That's when my appointment was. We probably didn't start tattooing till like 2:30, 2:45, because it took a while to get the stencil on correctly. We had to move it a couple times just to make sure the eyes and everything was centered. So it did take a while to get started, but we got started probably around 2:45, finished around 8:15. So it was a while. We did take 2 breaks, I think, just because he had to eat, and then he had a client come in, or he had a consultation, and they were foreigners, so he, you know, I think they were Russian, and so he had to figure out how to, you know, communicate to them in a way that they could understand, so it took a little bit longer, so that probably played into like 20, 25 minutes, so anyway, yeah, so pain, I'm the type of person that has to focus on it. So there was literally times when he would be doing a certain area, and like, I like to watch when I get tattooed. Some people like look away, they watch TV, they talk to people, stuff like that, listen to music. For one, I love the sound of the machine gun. I don't know why, I just love that sound. But I love to be able to see it. So when I got my ribs done last week, that was I almost did not do that. I was laying on the bed, like, just I guess the thought of that needle about to hit me and I can't tell where or when, that literally had me like, well, I don't know, because you have to lay completely over so that they can do that. It didn't hurt at all. I'm just going to say this. If you have a rib tattoo and you thought that was excruciating pain, I would not recommend a hand tattoo, just because for me, the ribs felt like nothing. I was like, oh, okay. The ribs were like a 2 out of 10 because it was like, compared to the hand, I'm like, I just sat through my hand getting ripped open. this felt like a cat scratch. And I was like, okay, I can do this. It was easy. And I had a little bit of shading in there that was unexpected, but it was like, he wasn't supposed to do shading, but it was just supposed to be a bunch of line work. But since I was sitting so well, he was just like, okay, I'll shade you. So he started shading me, and the shading felt better than the line work. So I was like, okay, cool. The ribs are a piece of cake. So yeah, so the hand, if you can get through a rib tattoo, I would say you could probably handle a hand tattoo, because mentally, if you can handle that, you can handle this, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but yeah. Anyway, so pain, still talking about pain. Anyway, so I had to focus on the pain for myself personally. So there was literally times where he would be doing something, and I'm like watching, like staring at my hand, like, and then after he lifts up the needle, I'm like, okay. And then I looked over at my friends one time, and they're like, Hannah? I'm like, did you say something? I'm like, oh, I didn't hear anything you said. Like, they were having a full-blown conversation. I didn't hear music. I didn't hear them talking. I didn't hear anything. It was like I was zoned in on the needle and the pain of it, because I just had to focus, and that's how I'm fine. Like, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. There was some times where I did kind of like, a few times, especially at the end when he had to go in with the white, because at this point my hand is done for, like red, swollen, plasma coming out, everything. It was just done, and he had to go in still with the white. I was just like, okay, dude. Like, I was gonna say, like, we don't need any white. But I got through it. But at that point, it did hurt a lot. So it is painful, but I honestly want to say, when I was watching YouTube videos, I hated when people were like, oh, it's so painful. It is. Okay, any tattoo is, but I will say this, that I think anybody can get through any tattoo if they set their mind to it. So if you're mentally prepared, I know for me, the tattoo had meaning, and I'm just a person that's always been, you start it, you finish it, and it's art. For me, I'm like, the pain is going to have a result of something beautiful. So I'm like, I'll sit through it and do it. So I was able to get through it. And so I loved the result. I thought it was awesome. So yeah, my hand was painful, but it was definitely worth it. All right. And lastly, aftercare and the healing process. Aftercare, I did the traditional method to heal, and I also did Sanoderm. Now, originally I had planned on doing Sanoderm the whole time because I wanted to wet heal it, simply because I wanted to make sure the color stuck as much as possible. So the problem was, though, and this is one thing I would change when I get it touched up, which I do plan on getting it touched up, I would wet heal it from the beginning. So he had me wait 24 hours before I used the Sanoderm, simply because I was so swollen and had so much leakage already off the bat that he was like, let's just wait, and then we'll clean it off and then put the Sanoderm on. But the thing is, 24 hours later, my hand, the plasma and stuff, had pretty much everything and that was leaking from it was pretty much done leaking at that point. So when I put the Sanoderm on, it was great. I had a little bit of leakage like around the nose and on this part of my hand, but for the most part, everything was dry. So I noticed probably day 2 or day 3 after using the Sanoderm that around my eyes, it looked like it was starting to crack. And I'm like, why is it cracking? Because it's supposed to be wet healing, so it shouldn't be dry under there. And then I started noting some other parts started cracking too. So I looked it up. It says you should not be scabbing underneath Sanoderm, and if you are, you should take it off and put some lotion on it and then put the Sanoderm on it again. So I had took it off, cleaned it, and I put some Hustle Butter on there that I have, and then I put the Sanoderm back on it. It did help for a few days, but at that point, it was like it wasn't really creating that much moisture. The scabbing process had already started, so it was kind of like, okay. And I actually ended up running out of Sanoderm at some point, so I got AFTERCARE, I think is what it's called. It was great, but I mean, I'm telling you, at that point, my hand was pretty much already dry, so I just said, the heck with them, I'm just going to traditional heal it, dry heal it, basically. And it started scabbing. It was pretty ugly. Had some pale areas and stuff like that, and I still have some scabbing and stuff like that. I'll show you guys in a second. But overall, I think it's pretty good. I still have a little small layer of scab on it, but I will get it touched up. I really just want to get kind of the mane darkened up, maybe the eyes focused in a little bit more, just so that it doesn't look like it's just a dark area, but I really want it to kind of pop. So I probably will get it touched up. But overall, I love the tattoo. I'm not even sure if I think I touched up pretty much on everything, but yeah, the hand tattoo, I love it. I love how it looks. What my artist also did, hopefully you guys can see this, it's kind of hard. He also started, let me put this book down. He also started working on starting my sleeve, just for what I have birds here. So what he started was to start the flow this way. So my next piece is actually going to be on this side. I'm going to get the rest of my forearm filled in, but that's just kind of what he did for me. I hope this is even centered with you guys, I can't tell, but so yeah, the flow, the mane going that way. As you can see, there's still some scabbing right here on my knuckles. There's still some around the nose, so it's a little dry there. But that's ultimately what it looks like. It's probably 90% healed. But yeah, I love it. If you desire to get a hand tattoo, I say go for it. Also, disclaimer, I work a job where I can have a tattoo. I'm personally a nanny right now, and I'm also an independent business owner as well. So for me, the family they knew me before I got tattoos, and well, they knew me, yeah, before I had tattoos. Well, I think I had like a couple, but they weren't really in visible places. But then they saw me when I got more, and they were cool with it. They already knew me as a person, so they didn't really care. Work is not a factor, but for a lot of people it is a factor, so you need to make sure you make the responsible decision. And if visible tattoos is not something you can do, then I will hold off unless you're prepared to put some serious makeup over your tattoos every day, which at that point, if you're going to cover it up anyway, then you should probably just put it somewhere where people can't see it, or just not get it at all. So yeah, anyway, I think that's about it. This video is probably 30,000 minutes long. I apologize for that, but I just wanted to cover everything about it. Just remember, the studio and the artist name is down in the description box. Make sure you guys thumbs up this video and subscribe too. We need to grow this channel, fam. We need to do that. And then also make sure you leave comments below. Let me know if you like these videos. I'm still kind of getting in my groove, figuring out what I want to do with this channel. But just go ahead and let me know what's up. And I will catch y'all in the next video, because I keep rambling. That's all I do. Because I could talk more and more. I mean, I'm telling you, man. I literally love tattoos so much that we can go on and on. And so I'm just going to stop while I'm ahead. That's what I'm going to do. So anyway, I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.
It's gonna be your favorite song.